Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome to the sports segment of the weekend show. I am Ayo Adams, and I'll be walking you through the happenings in the world of sport, the Tokyo 2020 Olympics updates, and we'll be going to a lowdown on combative sports in Nigeria. First of all, let's go to the breaking news of today as Super Eagles defender Leon Balogun, who plays for Rangers in Scotland, called out the Footballing Federation of Nigeria, NFF, over poor management and unpaid bonuses. He said, "You hear about other players and why they can't perform in the Super Eagles. We have to be honest, the infrastructure, and we are not being provided with the best minerals to do our jobs." About the bonuses, it's not a secret. I've read something recently where people in charge contradict themselves, saying things have been paid, and they admit that things haven't been paid. And as I said, I'm always quite outspoken. Probably I know if some people here, they might come after me, but I don't care. That's just how it is. And then the statement he made will be coming up on your screen. That's what Leon Balogun said while he was having an interview with the Beautiful Game podcast. You can see all he said up on your screen. And swiftly, the Secretary General of the NFF, Mohamed Sani, responded swiftly to Leon Balogun's claims, saying that we have never denied owning the team. Leon is a senior player that everyone respects for his quality and output on the pitch and calmness for forbearance of it. But I do not know which report he was referring to when he said the NFF was contradicting itself. He also talked about playing pitches. Sincerely speaking, the past few years has seen a remarkable improvement in stadium infrastructure across the country. Well, that was Mohamed Sani, the General Secretary of the NFF. That was how he swiftly responded to Leon Balogun's claims about poor management and infrastructure in the Nigerian Footballing Federation. Now we move to Tokyo 2020 Olympics update, as we had shocking news as the Athletics Integrity Unit issued statements today that Nigerian athlete Blessing Okagbare has been suspended after she tested positive for human growth hormones. Shocking news for Blessing Okagbare. At 3 a.m., Toby Amusan competed in the women's 100 meters hurdles and secured herself a place in the semifinals, clocking 12.72 seconds in her outing. In a couple of hours, 11:45 a.m. to be precise, Divine Ududuru, Enoch Adegoke, a debutant in the Olympics, and Ushel Ritse Sekiri will all be competing for semi-final spots in the men's 100-meter heat. We wish them all the best. Grace Nwokocha will be racing for a place in the final in the women's 100 meters at 11:30 a.m. And the men's basketball team, the Tigers, lost their final group game this morning after trailing 71 to 80 points. They have now exited the global event, losing all 3 games. In other shocking news, we have the Athletics Integrity Unit released a statement banning 10 Nigerian athletes, stating that they did not meet the testing and medical requirements for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. They said, under the framework of Rule 15 governing National Federation anti-doping obligations, which came in force in January 2019, national federations are accountable for ensuring appropriate anti-doping measures are in place in their respective jurisdictions. They went on to say, among other things, the rule sets out minimum requirements for testing on the national teams of Category A federations deemed to have the highest doping risks and considered as a threat to the overall integrity of the sport. They furthermore went on to say the key requirement in Rule 15 is that an athlete from a Category A country, which Nigeria is in, must undergo at least 3 no-notice out-of-competition tests, urine and blood, conducted no less than 3 weeks apart in the 10 months leading to a major event. Only then do they become eligible to represent their national teams at the World Athletics Championship or the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. And then moving on, we have athletes who protested in Tokyo after the ban, took to social media and the street of Tokyo after the ban was out, coming out with placards saying that they only wanted to compete. Why should they have to suffer for the negligence of some other people? And we also had Blessing Okagbare, when that happened, brought out statements on our social media saying that I have said it before and I will say it again. If you do not know the sport, not passionate about it at us, the athletes, then you have no business there as an administrator. The sports system in Nigeria is flawed, and we athletes are always at the receiving end. She wasn't the only one who spoke out. We also had champion Quadri Aruna, who also said, you can remove me from the national team, but please explain to the whole world the reason the coach that qualified me to the quarterfinals in the Rio Olympics is not in Tokyo. Well, Quadri also put out late last night that he has had a conversation with the Minister of Sports and these issues have been resolved. Well, moving on to the guest of the day, we are moving on to combat sports. I have with me in the studio Charles Oche Edachi, a mixed martial artist and a software developer who is here to tell us the lowdown about combat sports in Nigeria, the rise of combat sports in Nigeria. Good morning, Oche.
Good morning, Mr. Adams. Thank you for having me.
Likewise here. So before we go forward to the lowdown of the day, I want to ask you one first question. How do developed countries go about doping tests before a major tournament? Because what happened to the athletes is really scary, and you can see how they've come out to pour out their anger at some other people's negligence.
Of course. So let's use the most prominent example, which we have right now, which is in the UFC in America. They have a partnership with a state-sponsored body called USADA, United States Anti-Doping Agency. So what they do is that they take every athlete within the pool of the UFC and they put them on randomized drug tests over the course of their contract year. So say you have booked to have a fight in October. You may have 3 different random tests between now and then, and you have to give them notice of where you are, what you're doing, and they visit you on planned times. It could be 3 a.m. in the morning, 10 a.m. in the morning, and an official follows you into the bathroom. You relieve yourself and they go test your samples. Not only that, your samples get saved in subsequent years in case new technology develops, and then they can find out if you did something in the past that they previously couldn't detect. That was what happened to the former Tour de France winner, Lance Armstrong. He was caught with EPO in his system, but was caught many years after. So randomized drug tests take place over the course of a certain period of time, and they follow you, you keep track, and you have to let them know what you're putting in your system. That's how it's done.
All right, then thank you for shedding more light on that. Well, first, let's move straight into combat sports in Nigeria. As in Nigeria, in Abuja, to be more precise, we have combat sports and martial artists who have been displaying, who have been showing their growth, who have been training repeatedly. I mean, you've seen the likes of Kamaru Usman, we've seen the likes of Israel Adesanya. The Prodaus is a big man yeah. So, first of all, mixed martial arts in Nigeria, how has it been going for you and the people, your colleagues, your teammates, your participants, your trainees? How has it been going for you guys?
Okay, first of all, I have to give massive props to Body Rocks Fitness Studio, which is the foremost mixed martial arts facility in Abuja. That's where I started my training. Mixed martial arts is a more dynamic form of combat sports because it involves several aspects of combat. 1 being striking in boxing, 2 with your feet, kickboxing and Muay Thai, 3 wrestling, and 4 Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Those 4 elements make up what mixed martial arts is. For that reason, a mixed martial arts fight is so much harder to predict than, say, you would a boxing fight. Okay. And that is what has led to the growth globally and what has led to its growth locally. Not everybody is fond of throwing a punch, of seeing people get punched repeatedly. I like seeing people roll on the floor. Yeah. I like seeing people being wrestled. And that's what mixed martial arts does. So in our gym, we have different levels of training. There's boxing, there's kickboxing, Muay Thai, everything. And then on Saturdays, people come together and spar. It's from all ethnic groups, all religions, men and women. Everybody just comes together. Some people come there to overcome confidence issues. Some people come there for fitness, and some people like myself come there because we want to fight.
All right, before we continue, let's take the first video of the just concluded fight night, which is the mixed martial arts fight night, and we had lots of showdown to see. I was personally there to watch it. Let's have it. Welcome back. I'm still here with Oche, and we want to move to your training sessions. I can't just walk into the gym and carry my shoes. Okay, I want to fight in the fight night. No, I can't. So walk me through the training sessions.
Okay. First of all, let me use my journey as an example. I started 2 years ago, no prior fight experience, never even been in a school fight in my entire life. But I had certain insecurities and issues that I wanted to overcome, and mixed martial arts was for me the best interpretation of, or the best way for me to apply myself. So it starts, we have strength and conditioning classes on Monday, because you can't fight if you're not fit. There's a common fight adage amongst fighters, which is fatigue makes cowards of all men. you don't want anybody to be tired. So strength and conditioning on Monday, boxing on Tuesday, we wrestle on Wednesday, we do kickboxing and Muay Thai on Thursday, and then we spar on Friday, and we do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on Saturday morning. Matter of fact, I'm sure that they're even having Jiu-Jitsu classes.
So you're missing out right now?
Yes, I am.
Do you want to go?
Maybe from here.
All right, then moving on. Let's. While I was there, I saw like lots of fights. We had the boxing, we had the mixed martial arts, and something was really significant was the community. I could see people just clamored beside some people. Is it like, were they designated there as trainers or as cornermen, or I just don't know. It was just like a community you guys have had for so long. How have you been able to keep that community so much in line?
Okay, so the emergence of this sport in Nigeria is in response to the global emergence of African athletes in the same sport. Specifically, Francis Ngannou from South Africa and from Cameroon, Kamaru Usman and Israel Adesanya, both Nigerians. Now, that global emergence has raised a lot of interest on the global scene into Africa and to find out why our athletes are doing so well. Now, in response to that global emergence, there's now the local emergence of fighters. Men, women, children, everybody wants to be a part of this big and developing scene. That has also led to the emergence of local gyms and clubs in Abuja. The most notable of which, Taurus Martial Arts, which is in Area 11, they focus on kickboxing and they do grappling as well. And then there's Pinnacle International Boxing Gym in Maitama, and there's Body Rocks Fitness Studios. So you have different camps, and they have different athletes that they are grooming, different fighters they are bringing up. And it's only natural that if your athlete is representing you, you should go there to corner them and support them through the course of their bout.
All right then, so your last fight was a thrilling one. I remember walking down while the fight was over, and I was walking down the staircase, and there was a guy coming up, and he asked, Oche has finished fighting, and someone said, oh, Oche, they fight, and you go peace. So it was really breathtaking to see how you came, and so a lot of people who were there boasting up and they lost. But you came off, you had your tenacity, you had your confidence in you, you had your grip, and you won the fight. They would show us a shot of the fight. Now, how did you feel before going into the cage, and how was the feeling afterwards? And how many fights have you won? How many fights have you lost?
Okay. So to answer your first question, the feeling before any fight at all, is one of anticipation and excitement, quite frankly fear as well, because nobody knows what can happen while you're inside that cage. But for my first fight was way more tense than this one. To answer your second question, I've had 2 amateur fights. The goal is to make that 10 by the end of 2 years. But this fight, I was calm, mostly because of confidence and preparation, and because I'm genuinely doing something that I love and enjoy. So you feel everything. You feel anticipation. Some people cry. Some people have to use the toilet immediately before the fight. Different people react differently. For me this time, it was calm anticipation, and that's what you saw take place inside the cage. All
right. So finally, after the fight, they gave you the mic and you spoke about being suicidal at a particular point in time. Yeah. You spoke about how you've been on the streets, how fighting changed your life. Yeah. What advice can you give to people who are out there who want to be a mixed martial artist, who want to do combative sport? Some of them are going through a lot. What do you think they need to do to get in line? Or do you think the gym can save them as it saved you?
First things first, one of the first bits of advice a therapist will ever give you if you ever complain that you are depressed or you are having issues in your mental health is that you should exercise. Exercise is a natural antidepressant. For me, it didn't start with mixed martial arts. It started with being a skinny guy that was insecure about his looks and wanted to be better. So I started going to the gym, lifting weights, getting buff. I got muscular, good looking, some may say, but that wasn't enough. I'm a deeply obsessive and passionate person, and I always like to do things to the extremes whenever I get interested in them. So for me, being strong wasn't just enough. I needed an outlet for my fitness, and because I had been so insecure about my ability to defend myself, or even worse, my loved ones, my nieces growing up, I always wanted to learn to fight, just in the event where I need to throw a punch or throw a kick at somebody who deserves it. And MMA was the natural extension of physical fitness for me. So my physique even adapted to the sport. I'm no longer as buff anymore. I'm leaner, and MMA genuinely did change my life for the better.
All right, then you've heard Oche said he is the Abuja champion of the MMA. Well, if you want to be part of this this community, the combative sports, you want to be part of combative sport, you want to participate in combative sports for nationwide or for leisure, you can always hit him up at young_Jollof, and you can also go to the Body Rock stream if you want to participate. Well, that's all I have for you on the sports segment of the weekend show. Oche, thank you very much for shedding a lot of light on combative sport in Nigeria. We wish to have you on up here more. I'm guessing we'll get free tickets to the next show.
Of course.
All right, then. All right, then. He said it on here. Well, my name is Ayo Adams, and you can follow me on my social media handles at AyoAdams_SS. Stay tuned to the weekend show. There is more.